Awesome meeting kicked off. It's every Wednesday at 7 p.m. So let's go ahead and get things moving. We're 7:01 p.m. on February 26th, and I'm glad to be here. It's been a long, long day, but a really good day. I've been kind of in front of this chair getting a monitor sunscreen for the last 12 hours, But man, I'm grateful. Absolutely love what we do, and so it's fun to kick the sheets off to come to work and be excited to be able to come in. So excited to be here with you all. All right, let's kick the meeting off. Everyone down at the very bottom, you'll see that there is a chat window. You can feel free to chat independently. You can select a person you want to chat with, or you can chat with a whole group that is on here as well. Please don't hesitate to ask any questions. The only silly question is the one unasked, as we say. So please don't hesitate. We're all here to work together to build a brighter future. So the other thing is that you have a reactions button down at the bottom. That reactions button, I believe, probably shows up as a heart and then it says react. I'm not sure if you're on a mobile or on desktop or where you are, what technology you're using right now, or hardware, I should say, but feel free to use that reaction button. You can raise your hand and it puts a little yellow hand up in the corner of your screen, or you can send some emojis like Matthias just did earlier. And of course, again, don't hesitate to ask some questions by simply clicking that react button and raising your hand. We usually end up with, 30 to 50 people on this live meeting every Wednesday, and then the recording goes out to our other 3,000 AK Roundtable members. So people get to see it who were unable to attend on the live session. So team, let's go ahead and rock and roll in the next step, which is in the top right corner of your screen. There is 3 dots. If you can just click those 3 dots, you'll notice that you can click the link that says rename, and you'll see my name is about to go from Asphalt Kingdom to my email address, because of course we want to make sure that we're networking with each other. And if you have questions to ask, if you want to network with anyone, this AK Roundtable is a very powerful network. A lot of people share jobs on here. They end up connecting for performance partner relationships. And so please don't hesitate to plug your email in or your phone number like Matt Phillips did while he's, of course, driving down underneath the blue skies of Utah, getting ready for a smashing season. All right, team. Well, let's get this roundtable kicked off. We're going to start out with some wins. So every meeting we start out with some wins because, of course, success attracts success. And I know that the community every single week comes in and shares some inspirational stuff. So I know I have tons of wins. I hope you guys have tons of wins as well. But any wins? Any wins? Just click that reaction button, stick that little yellow hand up, and let's go through some wins. Mr. Martin, let's do it. What is happening? Come off mute and let's share your win.
I booked 2 jobs. I did one today and then I got one tomorrow. And I did 3 lot assessments today as well.
Following the process, man, doing your pavement assessments, right?
Yep.
You mean it actually works?
Yeah, I believe so.
Nice job, brother. Proud of you, man. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Cool. Any other wins, team? Any other wins? I know that there's wins all over. I can see some smiles. Zach, you have a win? Yeah, I know you do.
Landed another apartment complex to seal coat, so about the same size as the other 2 big fish I landed. So
Pipeline's filling up fast, brother.
it is.
You're gonna be fully booked soon if you keep it up.
Yeah, I know it.
Good stuff, man. Following the process, same thing, right? Nice. Love it. Cool. Matt Phillips, let's go.
All righty. The wins will start happening, guys, if you not only fill your pipeline, but if you perform and get people to call you back before you even have a time to send out your marketing. Hopefully you can hear me. But yeah, so I got a call today from a client that we've done 2 years ago, and he just says, "Hey, Matt, I know it's not spring yet. It feels like it because the sun is blue right now, but we're supposed to still have winter for another couple weeks. But he just wants to be on the first on the first property to get his properties going. So I've got 3 commercial spots properties that I'm going to be doing full crack seal, seal coat, and restripe, even though 2 of them don't even need it. This is just what he wants. He wants his properties to look good and look nice and professional. And so, yeah, be that vendor, be that person that will be there. Do good jobs. Don't walk on concrete with black tar. And it just happens. It just keeps flowing. So, yeah, looking for a 90,000 gallons, 100,000 gallon year. So, seal coat to put down. So, yeah, that's what you have to do. So, anyway, that's my win. Is that customer just out of the blue? Now I would have reached out to him here in a couple weeks anyway, but just calling me because the sun's shining, and he just says, "Hey, I just need some work scheduled. I want to be on the first on your schedule and get it done." So anyway, that's that one.
Congrats, Matt. Congrats. I know it's a big year for you this year, and it has been. You've been growing, and it's great to see you pouring into your business, but you've also invested a lot of time into going to these different shows. You've attended some of these events that we host, and you've been on here on the round table. You pay it forward constantly. It was great to see you at Payvex, and I'm just so excited for you, man. So excited for you. Appreciate you very much. Very grateful that we have you in the community.
Yeah, and I do put my phone number on there. I don't mind, if someone just can't get an answer or something, I don't mind helping out where I can. But I do think that that's the community. If we have, like-minded people, like-minded operations, like-minded systems, follow the process exactly like you said, Judd, and you'll be successful. So anyway, that's my 2 bits.
Love it, man. Thank you for sharing. Skylar, what's happening? Pennsylvania in the house. We can't see. It's pretty dark.
What up, bro? Here we go. No, here we don't go. There we go. Got more light a little bit.
Be cautious on the road.
Win for us is we qualified somebody today, eh?
Sure did.
Win for us.
Why don't you tell the team about it?
Yeah, so I've conducted, I don't know, 30-ish plus interviews over the last week-ish here. And I was doing first round. It was great because the more you do, the more you learn, right? So I qualified, people just from the simple directions of can you submit A and B, and if they did that, they were on to getting on a Zoom call, and then if they sounded good on the first Zoom call, we would go on to the second Zoom call where me and Judd held together as we're working out on building our appointment setter, our pavement assessment setter team. So we're adding 3 team members to our team to book appointments all day long for our closer, our boots on the ground, Mr. Bryson. So yeah, just fill in the calendar with appointments so we can jam as many marbles into the one side of the tube, so as many marbles come out the other side of the tube, because it's a significant volume game. For us, we need 1,800 residential leads, and then we need like 4,800 commercial. So in a cold setting, not in a warm setting.
It's a total numbers game. It really is, right? And at the end of the day, it's like, again, I say this constantly. I was in meetings literally stacked all day speaking about pretty much the same thing. It's like, do we have the framework? Do we have the path to success? Do we understand exactly what we need to be doing and executing from a sales engine perspective to be able to achieve the target that's on the board? And if we don't have the action attached to those critical drivers and KPIs, it's going to be very, very challenging to achieve the goal. A lot of people, honestly, I'm telling you, like, be honest, be 100% transparent. I won't dig in with you independently here in a group setting unless you want to. But like, raise your hand if you truly have decided on what you want your revenue number to be for 2025. Raise your hand. Be honest. Be honest. All right, cool. Now raise your hand if you already have what you want your net profit to be for 2025. Not as many hands are up there, right? And that it happens naturally. It's like, I want to be $1 million company, but there's no real solid goal that you've set around building the profitability of your company and setting the net profit in there. And so we really have to make sure that as we're building things that we're setting up not just those goals, but the framework to achieve it. So Skylar was going to have a massive problem. His massive problem was that the inbound leads were not going to be able to provide him with enough lead flow through inbound to be able to achieve the revenue result that he needs, that then has the profit attached to it. Raise your hand if you understand what I was just saying right there. It's really important, that piece. He was stuck. And so the only way that he's going to get there is by outbounding. It's the only way. And let me ask you, do you think that he's going to be able to achieve those kind of numbers by him driving around in his beautifully branded truck and knocking on doors manually himself? Would he ever be able to achieve those thousands, those literally four-figure numbers as it relates to leads? Like, there's just no way that he's going to be able to do that and run a company while drinking from a fire hose because he's growing his company to 5 million. It's like, it's just not possible. And so Skylar, the fact that you caught that early is so important, because it sucks to be in the month of
dog's
August,
eating your sandals.
right? It sucks to
Yep.
be in August and be losing.
It was definitely neat for us today when we sat down with our team, and from every angle, right? Our advisors, our team, and be able to say, hey, by the way, the last 3 months of things we were talking about, here's all the deliverables now, right? On every angle, whether it be the sales team, whether it be financial side, whether it be this. And we were like, it was finally, today was the day where all of a sudden it wasn't like looking at the pile of things we needed to push uphill. We were like, oh yeah, by the way, here's the place, here's the progress on this, here's the progress on this one, here's the progress on that one. And typically I'm trying to do that in the center of the season when we're trying to perform work and fight fires and the normal things are happening. So yeah, it's huge for us.
It's awesome, man. I'm super stoked, and it's fun to work with you, watching you, of course, following the process again. And now we're gonna start to it's fun to have spent that time with you. You saw how it works now, right? And it's like, now replicate, rinse, repeat.
Yep. And just taking the time, right? I just my dad ended up just getting home, and I was talking to him about it. I was like, this is the difference between business owners that really win and the business owners that really kind of sit back and watch, right? Is like, at the end of the day, I knew what I needed and I wanted a turnkey system. And the amount of time of me trying to say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to try and figure it out, I'm going to try and, set up this process and it's going to break, or it's wrong, or I'm yelling at people because I don't truly know the KPIs and really they're hitting numbers, right? Like all of that stuff that we try and figure out, like finding the right people that know the process and investing into that, right? And that's me, transparently, like, right? Thousands and thousands of dollars I've invested in to be able to do this personally. And it's not a sales pitch of like, hey guys, get coaching, do this, find the thing. And I'm back here not doing any of it. Like, we're actively in this together right now with my own money that I've spent getting coached. So
Now let's build it. There's a question in from Toby Fuller over here. Did Skylar say 400 to 800 or 4,800 leads?
4,800 cold leads is what we need. We will execute roughly 160 commercial projects out of that.
Welcome to the ultimate sales machine. See, this is precisely what we speak about, is build a marketing and sales engine first that provides asphalt maintenance services or paving services or concrete or pressure washing or whatever it is. But first, we must build a marketing and sales engine on the front end of that. Otherwise, we're just kind of winging it, and it's very easy to get stuck in a hamster wheel. I don't know if we have Rico on right now. Rico, are you on? If you are, just do me a favor, just come off mute. Probably, maybe not. Built a beautiful business, $300,000 a year. He's been going for the last 4 years. And he's stuck. He said, Judd, I'm stuck. And I said, well, why are you stuck, man? Like, he says, well, I just can't break 300 grand with my 550 tank and the equipment I have. And I said, so let me ask you a question. What's the difference between your time and someone else's time in a day? Who here, raise your hand if you have 24 hours a day that you know of. Raise your hand if you believe that we all do the same things with the time. Right? And so Rico was focusing on $500 to $1,000 driveways. Rico was doing residential seal coating. And don't get me wrong, $100,000, $120,000 a year, net walk away, great income, but stuck at the 300,000 in revenue to get him his 120. And that's been now kind of come to a place where it's kind of stagnant. He wants to grow beyond that. Raise your hand if you believe you have the answer to what Rico could do to be able to grow his sales and his business. Raise your hand if you know what he could do. Mr. Wallace, what could Rico do, Mr. Wallace?
Start hiring setters on commission.
Start booking pavement assessments, and what kind of assessments would he be booking?
Commercial.
Commercial. And so those commercial assessments that the setter is going to be booking, or the owner operator, Rico can just be dialing to book those pavement assessments. Let me ask you, would we be booking a 2,000 square foot small church parking lot, or would we be hunting 25,000 square footers?
Hunting those. Put your camo on and go hunting.
So to me, what we need to identify first and foremost with Rico is, what is the revenue target that we're looking to achieve? What is the revenue target that we're looking to achieve? So Rico says 500,000. And I'm like, perfect, man. Let's hop in AK Dash. Let me show you the revenue roadmap. Let's just dig into this thing. Let's get you on the revenue roadmap so you have your $500,000 target. You know exactly what you need to execute on. And then what we can do is get building your prospect list from Phantom Busters or Apollo.io, or Mackie and our team can build the prospect list for you. And now you all of a sudden have an actionable plan that you can execute on in order to achieve the $500,000 that's down the line. But unfortunately, if Rico doesn't have that plan and he doesn't have the pavement assessment appointments that are getting booked with the prospect list, what happens is he's at $300,000 in December and he's saying, man, I'm out of money. It's March. Because he has winters in Connecticut. The cycle, and it's all it is. I said to Rico, I said, all this is a matter of expanding your peripheral vision. What you know is from your past to where you are right now in your life to the ultimate present. It's what you've been taught. But what we're speaking about right now is something that a lot of people just don't speak about in our industry. And we don't break through that to expand the peripheral vision to say, it's time to go hunt. Zach, is it time to go hunt those bigger jobs, man, so that you can make $500,000 this year? Right. And you did it, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, but that's all I've been doing the past 2 months. Weather's been crap, so if you wait till the weather's good to start hunting, you're way behind. There's other people already eating.
Bingo. So that's where it's like, okay, all of a sudden the peripheral vision's expanded. It's like, okay, got it. This is making sense to me now. Now it's time to go after the right prospects on that list. And I'm going to really go after that. And then sometimes the response is, well, I don't know that there's enough prospects in my area to be able to actually go and activate this business properly the way that you're saying it, Judd. And I go, all right, so just let me share my screen and let's go to Google Maps. And then let's do a little bit of satellite cruising using Street View, and we'll use the Google car, right? The good Street View. And we start going through the different areas that have industrial areas, commercial plazas and complexes. And we start looking at QSRs and we start looking at all these different opportunities. And all of a sudden we start building a prospect list on Google Sheet. And it's like, yeah, man, there's tons of opportunity in your area. The problem is that we sometimes just get stuck in a moment where we need to be unglued. Now just go do everything I just said and you're gonna do super well. No, I'm kidding. But like that's it just, this is the drum beat that just keep that beat going, but start to shape it. Don't just leave this meeting and think about it. Start activating it. Work with our team. We're here to help you create that framework. We're here to help you make sure that you're being held accountable to execute on it. And speaking of that, feel free to write this down. Just grab a pen or a notepad, write this down. This is important. March 6th, we have a sales power stack. It is limited to 20 people. We have 12 people booked right now. There are 8 places left on that sales power stack, limited to 20 because we want to keep it somewhat intimate. But if you want to be on that sales power stack, if you're on AK King Boss, it's $349 a month. You can hop on for 1 month if you want. $349, you get access to that sales power stack. It's 2 hours. It's with me. I'm literally going through the sales framework that I coach other 8-figure clients. And Dylan McCann will also be on that as well. And we're going to go through prospecting right through to getting your proposals emotionally compelling and working your follow-ups, your 12 follow-up stages to get those deals closed. So that's on March 6th. And for those of you that are not on King Boss, it's $500. So that's the offer that's available to you guys if you want to learn more about that. But it's about sharpening your skills and really, really getting things to the point where you believe with conviction that you can execute on a plan to achieve success, just like Skylar is, just like all our case studies and testimonials are achieving. So it's good to work with you guys on that. Zach, you've got your hand up, brother.
Yeah, so I'm looking to free up more of my time because right now I am doing the appointment setting, making the phone calls, all that, and was been toying with the idea of hiring a VA. And I know you've mentioned it before. I just was gonna see what your thoughts are on finding an appointment setter. What's the best way to go about that?
So you can go and do that. You can go on Upwork or you could go to Fiverr or freelance platforms and you can go find an appointment setter there. You're going to need that appointment setter you need to make sure you go through, it's a 2-stage interview process to know whether or not that they're coachable. You don't want to just pick somebody to fill a gap and get a green check mark. You really want to find somebody that's going to make the most out of your money. I'm not a big fan of cost or expense. I much prefer to have investments that are working for me. I try in my life, actually, that's what I really try. Anything that I see as a cost or expense, I'm like, probably shouldn't do that. But an investment. So Zach, you would want to get your freelancer, you're off those freelance platforms, hire a setter that has experience with setting. And then you want to go through 2 rounds of interview. Generally, you do the first round, just like Skylar's doing right now. I'm building the whole pavement assessment appointment setting business division of his company right now with him. So I've got a folder that has all of the stuff that's needed to be able to do this the right way. And then I do the second round of interview to make sure that the candidate is right. And then I say that candidate is coachable. Skylar, you saw me do that today, the way that I work with the person. It's very unique how I do it.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying about the system, right? Like I probably could have turned my gears a little bit longer if we didn't have that today, and I probably could have pushed through, a lot more applicants quicker. And what I'm saying is I didn't know what I didn't know, and sometimes you got to follow the process because your life becomes easier.
So second round of interviews, Zach, happens where I do the interview and then I determine whether or not the person is coachable. And then I spend time directly with that person. Dylan McCann and myself spend time with that person doing the actual training with the individual who's the setter. And we do a lot of role practicing back and forth to get them really sharp so that they're flowing. And so we essentially become your partner in helping to build that division of your business. And then the goal is to have your calendar stacked, right? Have the pavement assessment appointment setters stacking your schedule. They're going to have critical drivers. They will be completely aware of the critical drivers. They will understand their KPI. They will have number targets as part of those critical drivers. We will be holding them accountable. There's a 13-week race for them, end of day reports. Like we actually turn this into a machine so that you have a pavement assessment appointment machine that's operating for you. And by the way, it doesn't only have to happen in your state. It could be happening anywhere nationally. These people can be setting all over the place, right? So if you have, as you just think about that, right? You don't have to be, as you scale your pavement businesses team, it doesn't just have, if you want to scale beyond just a geographically specific operating business, you can do that in this industry, but it takes some training, it takes some patience, and you just have to be doing it right using the framework that is proven. Does that help, Zach?
Yeah, that helps a lot.
That cold call script, that pavement assessment appointment cold call script, that one, I think you have access to that because you have access to the vault, right?
Yes.
So that script right there is a very important script. You'll see the critical drivers and KPI at the top.
Thank you.
You're welcome, brother. Mike, what's happening?
How are you? So my question is, I have zero experience. I have zero equipment. Day one, to get a very good start building because my belief is you got to start with a good foundation, right? So if I wake up tomorrow, I want to start my business. Where do I start? Where do I go from where I'm at right this minute?
Muted.
Thank you
I
for
think
the,
I muted you.
I was muted. I apologize. McCann, why don't you jump in and go through this? That would be great.
Sure. Yeah, I mean the biggest thing, and I think a lot of guys think they have to have the Ford Model T, build it and they will come model where you go, you buy equipment and it sits in your garage for a couple of months. The best way to start is having a social media presence and understanding your market and who your kind of ideal customer is. Is it driveways? Is it storage centers? Is it quick serve restaurants? And then really prospecting, who the right people to get in touch with is, and then hit them with the pavement assessment and follow the dang process. Really building the pipeline of work so that you can have your equipment, paid for before you actually have to go out and buy your equipment. So just to kind of recap on that, who is your ideal target market? Where are you going to find them? So, you can use platforms like, Phantom Busters or Apollo to kind of get a hold of those contact points, and then reaching out to them with value-driven follow-up. And there's nothing more value-driven than the pavement assessment.
I'd also love to jump in as well. Thank you, Mr. McCann. Mike, you have to build a marketing and sales engine first, brother. Like, you just get your Google My Business profile set up, like Dylan said, get your social media, your Facebook business page set up. Get some social proof that exists, right? Get some social proof that's there, because when somebody goes to look you up, you want to be found. You want to have some kind of a presence. So whether you're building out your digital presence yourself, or you want a team like that we have in-house that can do it for you, we can do that stuff for you. You can go hire your own web design firm or whatever it is, or you can do it yourself with some, cookie cutter thing that exists out there. But you have to get some kind of a marketing presence up for social proof. The second thing is that you have to, like, one of the best investments you would ever make is attending something like the Sales Power Stack that's on March 6th for $500, or hop on AK Dash. It's $349. And then you have the system that you need to adopt for your business, so that you can do pavement assessments, you can do proposals, that you have scheduling built in, that you have the ability to be able to push proposals that are out of the system without needing to be a techie or a designer. And so to me, it's marketing, adopt a system that's going to be your business solution, whatever you choose. We hope it's AK Dash. And as part of that, you would get your Sales Power Stack training, which is coming on March 6th. And if you wanted to go deeper on coaching, we have in-field coaching, we have virtual coaching, one-on-ones, we have all kinds of opportunity. But what I do see often is somebody who goes out and they spend $30,000 on a seal coat rig, and then they have no idea how to actually operate the business. And it turns into, I'm not profitable out there. I don't know how to find the right prospects. I'm struggling out in the field. I see that time and time again over the last 22 years. And finally, it's time, like, we've really, really pushed hard on the business solution division of our company, because we want success to be inevitable. We don't want the failure rate to be high. We want you guys to thrive. And so investing into the foundation for me, is the most important thing that you could do in your early stages. Raise your hand if you'd agree with what I'm saying, team. If you have any debate against that, please speak up. But like, you have to build your foundation. And Mike, so that's what I would do.
So Judge, you're saying I should, step one, I should probably get on the AK dash and start there. And start
100%.
learning, from you guys. I'm going to need a lot of advice of, what equipment I need to start with, how to do the jobs, how to assess the jobs, doing proposals, all that stuff.
That's what
So
we do.
start with the AK dash.
Yeah, 100%. Malone, can you come off mute for a second? Why don't you how are you, bud? Good to
Doing
see you on.
great.
Thank you for being here. Mr. Malone does all of our AK dash like initial meetings and goes through showing you under the hood, and he'll get you to understand AK dash on that initial call. He'll find out where you are in your journey, and then he'll show you the things that are important to you at the stage that you're in. Once you're a part of AK dash, we have Mackie that will go in and actually do training as much as you want. There's no limit on it. We just are here to train you on the system, make sure that you're really comfortable with it and that you can rock and roll with that system. The sales process, like our goal is to take everything that's out there and to create it into a system that turns your business into more of a machine styled business. So you can stop hand cranking things and just shooting on the fly. You need to have the framework. You need to understand how to communicate with your clients properly. We teach you about the closer framework, all kinds of cool stuff. So you're in the right spot, Mike. We look forward to really helping you grow the business, but start with Malone. He's the right guy to do it with out of the gate.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Of course, you're welcome. Toby, you've got your hand up.
So quick question about pavement assessment. There was some mention about VAs, but even without that, if you grab somebody off of Fiverr, you got somebody full-time in-house. Are people doing, or I'll ask, what percentage of the pavement assessments are people actually going on site and not and taking pictures and actually walking it versus a remote Google Maps kind of approach? I'm not sure that's a great question.
It's a great question. No, it's a great question, man. Like, it's awesome. I mean, I'm Scott, do you want to jump in on this, or I can roll on it? So
yeah, either way. It depends where it's at. I would say at the initial stage, you're going to be on site and you're trying to walk the property with the decision maker, either yourself or your closer. For us, it's our pavement asset manager, Bryson. Bryson is meeting every single decision maker on site, and that's the objective, is to get our appointment setter, to get the decision maker on site with our closer, so he can go through, give the assessment, build relationship, and it's not this transactional, hey, here's the assessment, oh, and by the way, here's the point out problems, and here's the things, give me your money, right? We want that face-to-face relationship, and we want to get comfortable. People do business with people they know, like, and trust, right? So if we can get to know each other, if we can build trust by delivering value in that pavement assessment, by pointing out things like liabilities, how to keep them, long lasting, like, things like that, things that need to be addressed. And then also it depends on the client. Car dealerships, they might be more worried about how the presentation is, right? And we always use the parking lot is the welcome mat of your property, right? And we're here to be able to, keep it safe, long lasting, looking great. But yeah, ideally you should be on every single one. And that's important. And then long term, you can probably do some virtual stuff like Judd was saying, but and that won't become a constraint. But for now, being on site is important.
Yeah, anytime you can be on site, Toby, it's always best. But I'll tell you, there's some things that you can do that's beyond just a virtual Google Street View assessment that might be outdated. And there's some tricks to that. Some really cool there's a cool solution. So who here, raise your hand if you want to hear some solutions to actually having up-to-date photos of pavement that, okay, I see a lot of hands, so I'm going to share it, right? It's pretty simple. Just write this down. Ready? I view, V-U-E, it. I view it. Who here
It's
who here has heard of Uber?
I was gonna say, it's like Uber Eats for site visits.
Yeah, exactly. So based upon your survey that you've inputted into I View It with their company, the viewers will go out, they've got an app and they'll go out and follow your instructions. You have to write the instructions as though it's like your 80-year-old grandmother, and I mean that in the most positive sense ever. It just has to be really, really simple and fun. And that's exactly the way that the viewers like it. And so if you go and you say, I want 20 photos of this parking lot in these locations, then they'll do that. And then it's geo-pinned to a map as well. So you know exactly where the photos were taken, and they're actual photos of, let's say, potholes or catch basins or whatever it is. And then when you tie that together with attentive.ai, which is going to be integrated into AK Dash, we're the exclusive business solution that Attentive has chosen as being the outlet that they want their artificial intelligence airline blueprint takeoffs to be, is AK Dash. Then you'll be able to have all of your measurements, your linear feet of line striping, concrete square footage, asphalt square footage. You'll be able to do that kind of stuff along with I View It. And you can imagine what those assessments could look like when you take AI and then actual live site visits. And now you've tied that together into an assessment that is a consultative sales tool in your pipeline that takes it to the next level. Again, FTDP, learn this shit, guys. This is so important, like the stuff that we're talking about. On the sales power stack, Toby, I'm going deep with McCann on this stuff. And so you should really try to be there. Any of you who really want to like ramp your stuff up, you do not want to miss that sales power stack. Again, I think we only have 8 people, so we'd love to have you.
Can I make an addendum to my question?
Yeah.
So I'm going to guess the answer to this question is it depends, but are you asking for the sale out there? As a rule, you're not asking for the sale.
Well, like the pavement assessments for me is it's getting to know your customer, right? Think about this, the majority of the people that you're going to meet out in the field that are facility managers, property managers, or owners, most of them have already been like shoved quotes down throats, and they're used to this aggressive push down in the face. And for me, it's just a different world now. I think people want to, I think that the relationship, the know, like, and trust comes through you providing value to someone, giving them information that really solves their pain points and allows them to say, you know what, you've done something that nobody else has done, and you're doing a really good job at it. And I feel like you've custom tailored this to my needs. Now, can I get a proposal from you? Like, you know, it's that. So I think you have to feel it. If the guy says, or the lady says in the blot, they say, hey, Toby, I just want a quote on this thing, man. Just tell me how much it costs. And like, I'm ready to rock and roll. Obviously, go the route that solves their pain and gives them what they need. But at the same time, if you feel at any point that you're starting to hard sell them, that's not what you want to do. Like, just think about this, right? Like I'm trying to convert everybody on here to come to the sales power stack because I know that it's going to change your trajectory of your business. And it's good for our business too, because hopefully you guys are going to adopt AK Dash, and that solves our company's challenge, which is of course lifetime value that we're constantly working on. So if I can pour enough value into you guys and give you as much as I possibly can and have wins coming on this board, then what happens is social proof is created. I earn your business through all the stuff that I give. You guys have to do the same thing with your business. Don't just ask, you got to give as much as you can. Make sense?
Yep. Thank you.
I'm pretty transparent with the way I just said that, I think.
Judd, you should roll through your line. Absolutely. We would love to walk your property.
Right? Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. McCann, were you gonna say something?
I forgot what I was gonna say. You had a little bit too much value to add there. So too many
But
golden nuggets, too many golden tickets.
But it's true, team. Like I'm transparent with you guys, right? At the end of the day, like I think we should all be that way. We should be able to communicate and be transparent, open, and honest with each other. So let's give as much value as we can. And then once we've really poured in and delivered a tremendous amount of value, then I think that you're able to earn the opportunity to earn business. I think that that's what it has to be. Toby, that answered your question, I'm assuming.
Yes,
Beautiful.
thank you.
You're welcome. Bring on the questions for us. Don't be afraid. Raise your hand. Matthias, is your hand up in the corner over there?
Sure is.
Got it. It was hidden in the sky, brother.
Yeah, I got a white hand. Just like the real one. I was actually just going to share on a win. 6 months ago, I was approached by a client looking for one of our products, and it's been a long road, a lot of meetings and a lot of calls and a lot of callbacks and a lot of work and stuff. But it's interesting. Today I had a meeting with them and our manufacturer, and they threw a green light at us and said, yeah, to this project. This project, first one's going to be about 100K, and there could be between 17 to 34 of those units. So that's a potential of 1.7 to $3.4 million project. So 6 months, it's worth it. Put it in your time, make sure that you're filling that pipe, make sure you're nurturing the relationships. And I know it changes what your future is. So anybody on here that's new, don't give up on somebody that's, not necessarily right now. Until they tell you to to shut up and go away, just keep moving. Yeah, just keep moving. Make those phone calls and make those relationships grow.
Such credible advice. And Matthias, congratulations on your persistence and the drumbeat. Proud of you.
Thanks,
Cool.
brother.
Thank you. Let's keep rocking. Toby, you've got your hand up again. Keep going, man. We love questions.
Yeah. So this one's pretty specific. Is there anybody out there who just offers crack filling? No line striping, no seal coating, just crack filling, pothole repair. Anybody out there doing just that service or prospect for that service as a way to lead into other services?
Judd,
Matt
you brought
Phillips
this up
doesn't stand
before. That's not
Hey,
what
hey.
Matt does everything.
Matt's on.
Well, I don't do just the crack seal, but I have a performance partner that does just crack seal. So yes, that is an option to do just crack seal. It's an option to do just seal coat. It's an option to do just line striping, or start out with seal coating and then bring in line striping, or start out with crack seal and adding seal coat. So I don't know if your question, Toby, is there somebody out there that's just done crack sealing? I think you could branch that off. Now your profitability, this group that does just my crack sealing, they do crack sealing and mastic. But if you look at their business model and their website, they're an asphalt performance company. So they sell seal coating, and I'm their performance partner to go in and do seal coating. So I don't know if your question is, hey, should I just do crack sealing because this is something I like or it's something I can do? Absolutely. You can start doing just that crack sealing and work your way up to adding, performance partners, or build your company to bring on more stuff. I don't know if that's an answer to your question or not, but there is that option to do just crack sealing if that's what you want to do, and you can make money at it if that's what you want to do. But just know that you're going to be having to work a lot become a performance partner for somebody that doesn't want to do this crack sealing. So anyway, that's my 2 bits.
Yeah, so the root of that question is all of those things, Matt, really. You know, is it a viable standalone business, or it seems like you're doing the same work to prospect and sell for just crack filling when the same customers will need the other services, but people do line striping exclusively. So I was just curious.
I can even throw in, we had a client that came that started with crack seal. She came to our facility and said, I'm going to crack seal only. I have the equipment. And she's like, this is what I'm going to do because I want to make my mark in the industry. And within 24 hours, she was like, yeah, I need to find performance partners. And even if I can't do it all right now, I need to find the people that are going to do this because I totally understand how you make money doing this now. Because say the crack sealing is a $3,000 to $5,000 operation, and then you add another $25,000 of seal coat on top of it. And as soon as you seal coat, you have to line stripe because the lines are gone. And this is where like the service becomes all encompassing. So like, it, in a sense, it may sound good in the beginning to get your foot in the door. And I'm not saying it's not a bad thing. If you're saying, hey, my barrier of entry is buying a Rhino Works melter and some crack seal, and you want to go get your boots on the ground and build relationships, I think it's a great thing to sell. I think it's a great thing to self-perform in the beginning at a low cost. But I also believe there's so much money that's left on the table to perform all those other services. And typically when we start targeting the right things and you truly understand what your prospect list is, like these large commercial facilities, they are not looking for a piecemeal option. They are 100% looking for a done for you turnkey system. And you need to be able to do that and alleviate the pain point and get rich while you're doing it.
Kobe, can you see my screen here? I'm just in AK dash right here.
Yeah.
Can you see that? Yeah. All right, cool. Everyone see my screen? Give me a thumbs up. Nice. All right, over on the left side, I'm going down to set goals and targets. And so I'm going to select that I want to do $500,000 this year, and it sets up the framework that I need so that now when I go to review my target slide over here, I'm able to see my target over here. I'm able to see my actual. So to the right of the gray is my actual stuff that I'm working. This is just a test account, so ignore the numbers kind of, but you can see there's 532,000 that's on the board based upon what I need to do here. Can you see that this particular row right here says $0 to $2,500 projects? Can you see that?
I can.
That means that I've got to get out 60 bids at a 30% win rate to achieve 18 total sales from those 60 bids that I put out here. Now, if I'm going to do residential work and that's the end all be all of that opportunity every 2 to 3 years, I'm stuck. But if you now look at the $0 to $2,500, Toby, and you said I'm pothole hunting and crack filling because I want to open up a gateway of opportunity to go after account-based selling with multiple locations, and that's where you're putting out these bids, now you're talking, brother. So I want you to think about these lower tickets as being your gateway to an opportunity that has a bright horizon for you. Don't choose jobs that are going to only be this for the next 3 years for that particular client. Raise your hand if you heard what I said here, guys. This is really important as you go to grow your business. A lot of people get stuck on that and they end up just like Rico, where he was at 300 grand and he was stuck because he was focusing on the residential market. I want you to think about Miller Diggs, Harbor Seal Coating, Wilmington, North Carolina, started coaching him just 2 years ago. They did $560,000 in year one, $750,000 in year two. They are not doing residential, but they're hunting Bojangles and national opportunities, and they're going to do potholes and patching to solve the pain points of the individuals, which is like giving them an aspirin. And then once they've solved the pain point, the trust is there and they start to have a real tight relationship because they hear someone's pain. Now it's easier to sell them the vitamins, which is the seal coating and the striping and all the other stuff, right? So first and foremost, focus on the cavities in the teeth, and then go ahead and start selling the braces and the whitening and all that fun veneer stuff and whatever. Obviously an analogy, but is You guys on side, everyone on side there? Cool. Build an ultimate sales machine. Chris, what's happening, brother? Let's do it.
Hey, so I had a question on what's everyone's experience with government contracts? Is that something that you would hold off till like season 2, season 3, or is that something you're willing to like throw in for season 1?
It's another beast. Like, uh, I would say, if, in my personal opinion, if you're gonna do it, focus on that because it's its own world. And I think, in a sense, it's still probably semi premature in year 2 or 3 because of probably the insurance and paperwork and legal requirements that you're gonna find out that you probably don't have the resources for in the beginning. And eventually, once you hit that market cap and you're like, man, where do I go? You start looking at some of this municipality, government type stuff where you have like, you can drop a couple grand on an attorney to review contracts and things like that on a constant basis.
Sweet.
I've never done it, but I have worked with municipalities, my other business, and I would say I'm not sure I would do it personally, but my sense of that would be there's not that much competition doing it. So if you can solve that problem and if you can deal with the paperwork nightmare, I'm sure it is, and solve that problem, you'll get on a list, just like maybe with Walmart or a larger company that has a vendor list. Same thing with the government. I mean, maybe worth that front end if you can do it and afford it, but I'm not sure I would do it.
If I would add something back to that, the reason people aren't doing it because they got wiser and realized that they go with the lowest bidder and it's a race to the bottom. And if you don't know that world, right, that's the problem. Like, a lot of contractors, they want to go to municipalities and they want to go to government and say, I'm going to be the lowest bidder. And they don't understand how that world works, right? Where it's not about being the lowest bidder and sticking to that price. It's about being the lowest bidder, being in politics, greasing palms, and understanding how to upcharge in that process and not get your ass handed to you and getting stuck in a really bad spot, because that's what happens a lot of times. And that's how big dogs stay big dogs, because they know how to continue to work the money out of the contract on the back end. And the front end is just a kind of laugh and a wink at each other to get your foot in the door. And that's the truth behind it, right? Like, it's no longer relationships, it's politics. So, and that's my.
Thank you for saying it.
Yeah, thank you guys.
I'm glad you said it, not me.
Hey,
It's all right. They're not my clients. I don't target them anyway. So I'll have fun in the piranha pond.
I'll add on to what Skylar was saying there, and I agree with it 100%. Do follow the postings and the RFQs for government contracts, and I go and request after the bid has been awarded. I go and request all the bids that were submitted so I could check pricing from competitors and just see what the market's like, because it's a lowest bid wins usually, but you can get, if 3 or 4 or 5 companies bid on those government contracts, that becomes public record, and you can request to see those bids, and you'll get to see numbers. And that's just to help you with your personal business and your bidding. So in the future, you're not leaving money on the table, so to speak. So if you're new to the business and you're not sure, hey, is seal coat, or I'll go back to crack seal, is crack seal paying 30 cents a foot, 50 cents a foot, $1 a foot? If you go and see some of those numbers, you'll be able to pull up and get a better idea of what the market is going for. So anyway, they're government contracts. I steer away from them personally, but I do follow up on them, and I go and collect the bids from them. So
another cheat code too is there's certain state by state governmental programs which will actually allow you to skip the bid process where you're basically an approved vendor by the state, where you get audited financials, get audited inside the company and safety. And basically it allows you to skip that bid process and your preferred vendor in the state's eyes. And you can kind of skip that lowest bidder thing, and you build a lot of really good relationships that way. It would be state by state dependent. So you would have to check that out and see what that is for you. And, you know, like Matt said, I would, if you're checking bids, make sure you're checking bids to not leave money on the table and not who the lowest bidder is and trying to come in there, right? When I check bids, when we're bidding, you know, we just bid a huge, wasn't huge, a small, medium sized, 60,000 square foot of dirt work, and, you know, some fence and some walkways and parking lot and some other stuff going on. But when I was looking at that bid list, I wanted to know who I was hanging with, right? Was I hanging with reputable companies that I'm saying, hey, we do quality work like these guys? We're coming in with these guys, or we're at the bottom of the barrel with these, you know, 1-2-man bands, and they're like, man, this is sick. This is, you know, work for the next 4 months for us, and they're going to do everything themselves. And, you know, so when I'm looking at that, I'm saying, am I hanging with the reputable guys? Are we head to head with what I would consider a competition, right? And that's what I'm checking. So, you know, just don't get jaded in seeing the numbers and be like, I got to come in cheaper, because it don't work.
The other thing, if you look at a contract in a municipality or something like that, or a smaller town setting, sometimes one of the things you said, Skylar, which was key, is get on the preferred vendors list. Because if you're not on the preferred vendors list, you could be the bottom guy and they still won't pick you. I've quoted before, it's $2,000 less than the next guy, and they went with the guy more expensive because it was on the preferred vendors list. So just use that as at least as starting out. If you're going to do anything in municipal, make sure that you're on the preferred vendors list before you even bother quoting, because you'll probably just lose your quote.
And the cheat code with municipalities, if you're still dead set on getting in with them, is work on the private stuff and not the public stuff. Work on the police stations, work on the municipality building, work on, you know, those things, because the public stuff is the cheapest bidder, and that is, like, you know, a lot of that. But if you work the preferred vendors list and you're at the lot that the police are, and, you know, the township supervisor is, and that type of stuff, it's typically a little bit of a different process, and relationships and preferred vendors matter.
And I want to add on top of that too, Skylar, and I think you'd probably agree, is that you go in, and if you could meet some of those companies that are bidding, and just let them know, say, hey, I am I do crack seal, or I do potholes, or I'm a line striper, and, you know, I may not, you know, I may not be ready for this big of a job, but if you have something that you can't perform, give me a call and I'll self-perform for you. So you get on other contractors' radar to be that go-to person for, you know, that small pothole, or that, you know, they're doing a parking lot, and their guys forgot the one section behind the garage that they need to send somebody out, and you'll make money. You'll make good money at doing that, because you're based off that contractor, that higher contractor pricing. So just be available. I mean, I've picked up jobs. I have a street sweeper. I've done street sweeping for contractors, and just out of the blue, they call up and say, hey, we need this striped tomorrow for our CO. And I say, well, I got to charge a little bit more. And they're like, we don't care. We trust you. Come get it done. And so just be that go-to guy. So anyway, that's what I would do. Contracts with city or UDOT or the DOTs, I guess, they are complicated. They can be profitable, but it is a lot of work. So.
Thanks, guys. That was what I call a value cheeseburger right there. That was like on top. That was awesome. There was like endless value. You guys getting some golden nuggets, good notes that you're taking away here? Anybody take notes? Raise your hand if you've got any notes here tonight, honestly. Cool. All right. And if you didn't raise your hand, you're gonna have to watch the recording and take notes, because it's important. Time, precious. It's precious. It's precious. We just rounded off on an hour here on the AK Roundtable. So we're going to go ahead and just go through is there any final questions that you may have? Now's the time to ask it. We're going into overtime. Toby's like, I'm going all the way, man. I'm going to keep building cheeseburgers. Let's go.
Might as well. I know my mic works. So
Let's do it.
anybody sell anybody sell programs like almost like a retainer or not in the strictest sense, but I mean, the life cycle of the service, right? You know that every 2 or 3 years you might have to seal coat, or every so often, periodically you have to crack fill, or the paint fades every
You mean like a
so
subscription?
yeah, yeah. Um, I don't even know how to frame it really, but almost like a retainer, but not exactly like that. But just a maintenance program.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
subscription. It's a
yeah,
subscription model. It's a subscription model. You just have to be very, very delicate on what it is that you were building into that subscription model, right? So if you were going to go and do something where it was like, I'm going to go inspect the parking lot every quarter, and I'm going to spend up to 1 hour doing general repairs on that lot as part of my program, like touching up parking lines or getting rid of some oil stains, or repairing a bird bath, or something grease that is spilled out by the trash corral, or like stuff like that. You could do, just be very, very cautious on the agreement that you have executed. But yeah, there are subscription models, but it's very rare to see in our industry. Mr. McCann, your hand was up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we used to do what we called a preventative maintenance plan, and that would be done out over a 5 to 7 year period. But as Judd was saying, you do have to be really, really careful and really understand your cost structure, because that moves around. So it's the difficult thing is that prices change, labor rights change, material costs change, and so you're building that in. And so we used to provide a budget that allowed for inflation year over year. And it can be done, but it was rare, and it was typically large shopping malls, large property management companies that were really focused on the longevity side of things. At the end of the day, our mission here is to, make parking lots safe, long lasting, and looking great. Some of our property managers and some of our clients only care about making parking lots safe, and they're not as into the longevity side of it. So you have to find somebody that sees the value in safety, longevity, and the look of their parking lot. And that's a smaller portion of the industry than we would like, and that's what we're trying to change here. So
who could you give me an example of who that would be? Somebody, that person that you're talking about, who
so
sees the
my
value?
yeah, my business was up in Canada. So some of the management, some of the players a little bit different, but there was a big company called Oxford Management. They do have properties in the US, and the other one was Cadillac Fairview. So to move into those relationships, we had been painting and doing work and seal coating and crack filling their lots for 4 or 5 years before we were able to sort of bridge that arrangement. And it really was because it was like, hey, we can cut you some slack on what we're charging, knowing that we can lock this work down. Because for us, being in a 6 month market, being able to have some expected and forecastable revenue, there was a win-win for both of us, where they knew their pricing well in advance, and we had some forecastable revenue. So does that answer your question? Or
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Yeah,
no
I
problem.
mean, recurring revenue is obviously, or obvious to me, what I'm getting at there.
Mhm.
Locking down work over time and not having that cost of acquisition. You know,
It's a relationships game, and I know Matt Phillips would agree that this industry, you win long term, and I know Skylar would agree as well, is that the relationships that you build out over 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 10 years, those are the relationships that you can build plan for, and they'll see the value in, because they know that you're doing the work every year. So it's a long game with the recurring revenue for sure.
Hey, on this exact question, Judd, if you were back to go back in the archives, I'm sure I asked this same question 100 years ago. But one of the examples that I could give you that is if anybody was on a couple weeks ago, you saw me up at a ski resort parking lot doing some potholes before a storm came in. That client there is on a 5-year preferred pricing program, meaning that I basically have committed to him for 5 years, and they've committed to me for 5 years. And each year we go up and we'll seal coat, we'll pothole repair. Every other year we might do crack seal or as needed, and stripe, line stripe, and striping is yearly. But I give them preferred pricing, so they just know at the next season when it rolls around, we're going to mobilize up there and get it done. And this is for a couple HOAs, condominiums, and the major ski resort there above where I live. So it's those contracts are possible, but I think what we're alluding to is that you don't want to lock in I never lock in my oil prices because it could fluctuate, and I could lose my shorts if I say, oh, I can do this for X amount each year. So I call it preferred pricing. So we give them preferred pricing, and basically I just confirm with them that they've got budget, and we'll perform, and then I'm on call during the off season for emergency pothole repairs or whatever they may need pertaining to their property on the paving side of it. So that is an option. So.
And to double down on Dylan's point is relationships build long-term contracts, right? Like when you do stuff, now should be the time you're out dropping gifts off to all of your clients. You're dropping gifts off to your vendors. You're building the relationship. You're staying relevant. You have nurturing emails that are packed full of value to these clients when seasons are changing, when things are happening, right? Like it's building that, someone they know, like, and trust. And again, sometimes just a gift at the end of the year, right? Like we did last year, we did rain defender hoodies, Carhartts, for all of our commercial clients. And you want to know what was the coolest thing? Was this year when I went to drop off Yetis to this same client, he came to me and he was like, Skylar, that sweatshirt you gave me, it's my favorite sweatshirt. I wear it everywhere, right? You want to know why? Because I bought $70 sweatshirts, right? They were $70 a piece. But again, $70 on a commercial client that paid me $100,000, it's irrelevant, and
Yep.
and he's advertising for me on top of it. So when anything asphalt, concrete, anything like that comes to mind, he's thinking of me because it's just that little value piece that I've provided, of just like, hey man, we really appreciate it. Thanks so much for doing business with us. Here's just a little gift from us. Let me know if there's anything I can do and help.
Everybody
Yeah, just like I started out in the beginning of this roundtable tonight, on one of my wins is that I have a client that called me up. I don't even have oil delivered to me till the end of April, 1st of May. But he called me up and says, Matt, I got these 3 commercial spots that I need done, and I want to be on the first of your list. And so this will be on 2 of those properties, will probably be the 4th time that I've seal coated, crack sealed, and line stripe over the last 10 years. And so it's just that repeat customer that just wants, just knows, hey, I'm going to call you, you're going to get it done. He didn't even say, hey, what's the pricing like this year? He just said, I need these done. So guys, like I said earlier, be there, be top of mind awareness to your clients. If they're current clients, do a good job. Don't make a mess on their property, and you'll have ongoing business. So.
Thank you, Mr. Phillips. Appreciate you. Thank you, Scholar. Thank you, team. Thank you, everyone, for coming in tonight and pouring into yourselves and for paying it forward. We really appreciate it. We have one request, just one, only one. What you learn here, please pay forward to someone else one day. Just keep paying it forward. That's what we ask. That's all our ask is. And of course, just a couple other things just for housekeeping. Mr. Malone is on here. I think he's still on there. He is. What's up, Mr. Malone?
What we doing?
Any asks? Do you have any asks?
If you haven't invested the time, my booking link is in the chat. I would love to spend some time with you guys just to show you what we've got going on with AK Dash and how it's going to help you out in 2025.
Mike asked earlier, what's the best thing you can do when starting out the business? Have a plan, get systemized, and prospect, right? So AK Dash can do all of those things for you.
100%. Yeah, let's get you guys on. Mr. Malone, it looks like tomorrow you only have 11 a.m. open, so you're pretty busy tomorrow. That's good. Lots booked on your schedule. And then on Friday, you have 10:30, 10:45, and 11 available right now. So anyone that wants to get on. And remember, if you are on King Boss with AK Dash, you get the sales power stack included as part of that. So Mr. Windley, your question is answered, I believe, in the chat. You should be good to go. I'd love to have Sarah on the sales power stack. Be awesome. Sarah, looking forward to seeing you on March 6th. Cool. And team, I just want you to, I want you to know how grateful we are to be on the journey with you, to be able to earn your business. It's really, really special for us. We don't take it lightly. We're not a transactional company that just sells equipment and supplies. We really want to build lifelong relationships with you. You've seen our success stories. You've seen our case studies, testimonials. You've seen our coaches. This is all very real. Continue to pour in yourselves and let's build the future that you guys desire. Looking forward to seeing you all next week. Same time, same place, right here on the AK Roundtable. Thanks, team. Appreciate you.
Let's grow.
Let's grow.